Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Oilers Nation After Dark. A few hours earlier than usual, and it was a fun one if you're an Oilers fan today. What a game. The Edmonton Oilers victorious over the Ottawa Senators 6-3. I'm Connor Halley. I've got Gavin, the intern, alongside as the producer, and Tyler Yaremchuk will join us in just a couple minutes here on the show to break down everything that happened in the game. Before we get to the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance, we'll give a quick rundown of exactly what happened in this game. And for the Edmonton Oilers, after the last two with a little bit of a slow starts in the first period, it was a little bit better. They would get on the board early. Connor McDavid, with his 42nd goal of the season, came off a missed shot attempt by Leon Draisaitl. Connor McDavid, heads up play. We all know he's got great hockey IQ, banks it off Anton Forsberg, giving the Edmonton Oilers the 1-0 lead. That's how it stood after 20 minutes. Into the second period, not a great start for the Oilers. Jake Sanderson jumps into the play, would even things up at 1 apiece for the Ottawa Senators, but then Zach Hyman on the penalty shot, he gets the goal, his 27th goal of the season. That ties his career high in 25 games, less than it took last year. And you factor in all the disallowed goals. Man, what a season he is having. And then we probably say this quite often, a potential goal of the year candidate where Connor McDavid's involved. He does it quite often. What a play that he made to track down Thomas Chabot on the penalty kill. Just buy some time, allowing Ryan McLeod to jump up into the play, and he gets a tap in. Watch SportsCenter, watch any place where you can get highlights. Go check it out on my Twitter, at Connor Halley. It's an absolutely beautiful goal. I think we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Ryan McLeod, his 10th goal of the season, a shorty for the Oilers, made it 3-1. Then the Ottawa Senators would get back into it. Claude Giroux on the power play, veteran guy. He knows what he's doing. It's going hard to the net. The puck does go off his skate, but there was no motion, just a deflection. And then Eric Branson would score his first goal of the season for the Sens. That made it 3-3 going into the third period. Lots of goals. Hopefully you took the over on Betway, 19 plus, bet responsibly. And then in the third period, Jesse Puljujarvi, that trade value skyrocketing. He gets his 5th goal of the season. Kulak and Darnell Nurse with the assist on that one. The Oilers would get another shorty, Derek Ryan from Kulak and Evander Kane. Derek Ryan's 8th goal of the season. And then to wrap it up, making a nice 6-3 final, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, number 24 on the season. Draisaitl and McDavid get the points on that one. The assist, Connor McDavid now up to 97 points on the season. Leon Draisaitl up to 78. He is now 2 points ahead of Nikita Kucherov, who is in action this afternoon. So quite the season for those two. Leon Draisaitl, 8 shots in the game. Looks like he's starting to bounce back after a couple off nights. And the Oilers now sitting at 30, 18-5 with 65 points on the season. Right now, let's get into the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. Cornerstone Insurance Brokers, Edmonton's premier boutique insurance brokerage with over 90 years of success and still growing. Visit cornerstoneins.com/nation to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote in just a few minutes and use discount rate NATION for an exclusive rate. Find out why Cornerstone Insurance Brokers is ranked amongst the best in Alberta. For the good, the bad, the oily, we will bring in Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation, DFO. Tyler, you're celebrating today.
Yeah, big dub. What a way to start a Saturday. I mean, Oilers come out and not just win, but like win in very entertaining fashion. If it would have been a 2-1 game, whatever, we might have been sitting here just having a quick post game and then going on with the rest of our Saturdays. But that is a legitimately fun game to have to sit and break down.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we kind of ran through the goals there. There was a lot of them, but you got the fight with Kane and Tkachuk. You got Vinny Desharnais mixing up with Tkachuk, a penalty shot. Everything was happening in that game. Unfortunate, Anton Forsberg goes down on the stretcher. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but that's not really going to impact the Oilers at all. So whatever. Yeah. Tyler, let's start off with the good here. And this could be probably what we could do for every game the Oilers partake in. Connor McDavid, he gets the first goal, bangs it off Forsberg, heads up play, hockey IQ through the roof. We know that. But the second big highlight of the game where he tracks down Thomas Chabot on the power play, steals the puck, buys time, embarrasses him, and then feeds McLeod for the tap. And what can you say about this guy? Just appreciate it, Oilers fans. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. And Bag Milk and I are always on that train of don't forget to appreciate these kind of games from Connor McDavid. It was unbelievable. I mean, knocks down the puck out of midair to start that whole rush. And then Thomas Chabot, I mean, no offense to any of those other guys on the Ottawa blue line, but like Thomas Chabot is really one of the only high-end D-men they got. He is the only high-end D-men they got. And McDavid made him look like a third-pairing defenseman. I think just, again, the way Connor McDavid can do that to a guy like Chabot a couple years ago when he turned Victor Hedman inside out. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. No one is safe when 97 is on the ice. And that as well just showcased the unique not just skill of McDavid, but the work ethic as well. And this newfound physical edge that he has that I think he really started to let shine through last year in the playoffs. And now this year, I mean, like that goal, you knock your guy down. Okay, that wasn't enough. You do a good stick lift and then you use your body to kind of spin off of him. And it was just all around an unbelievable play. Maybe not top 5 McDavid all-time goals or assists or anything like that, but just one of those goals that really demonstrates just how special he is.
Yeah, 100%. And, I'll even give some credit to McLeod. Go to the net, heads up play by him. Eventually, McDavid finds him. Just brilliance that we see night in, night out from Connor McDavid. With the good always comes the bad. And today for the bad, giving Ottawa life. You're up 3-1. You give that power play goal up to Claude Giroux, and then Eric Branstrom gets in there. At 3-1, you probably want the Oilers to shut it down defensively a little bit, pick and choose when you're going to get those offensive opportunities, but the Sens fight back into it. In a game where they win 6-3, we got to find something. So giving Ottawa life will be the bad today.
Yeah, and it was a weird game because the puck was kind of jumping all over the place. It didn't seem like the ice was good. In the first period, it was like players were falling down. I mean, like every second shift, it seemed like super, super weird. And I think the Oilers just probably should have recognized that a little bit more because when they took that lead, it seemed like they didn't want to just make any safe plays. They wanted to keep the pedal to the floor and keep trying to, be a little too cute at times. And when the puck's bouncing like that and you're playing a team that's as scrappy as the Sens, I think you just kind of got to keep it simple. Even though it's not the sexiest thing to do, you just get pucks deep and avoid big turnovers. They didn't do that. I will say, Jack Campbell probably could have stopped 2 of those as well. So maybe there might not be anything bad to talk about from this game if Campbell would have made a couple of those stops. And the deal I always say on Oilers Nation every day is that you can't complain about Jack Campbell if his save percentage is above 900. Well, today it was 897, so he probably could have given the Oilers another stop, and this victory would have been more sweat-free. But, yeah, you just can't let a team back into it like that, and I just felt like the Oilers lacked attention to detail when they got the lead.
100%. So, yeah, if you want to be critical of Jack Campbell by Tyler's rules, today you are able to do so. Shout out to everyone on Facebook and YouTube. Derek says, great game, go Oilers. Reese says, finally a win in the morning. Absolutely. Claus, go Oilers, go. And Martin, that was a great one. Love from Ottawa. Great game, boys, today, says Robert. And then on YouTube, lots of you there. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. Do us a favor. I see a lot of the usuals. Tyson, Genesis. We've got Yeshi, Sean in Calgary. Go Oil. Hope Forsberg is okay. 100%. Make sure you hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, well, let's get to the Oily here. And one, it seems like we're getting a little bit more accustomed to as of late. This Oilers penalty kill becoming a threat to score goals. We saw it twice today. Obviously, the Connor McDavid, Ryan McLeod goal was a beautiful one, but Derek Ryan gets his 8th goal of the season. Man, he's provided some nice depth scoring. This penalty kill becoming a threat to score here, Tyler.
Yeah, Derek Ryan, that you said that was his 9th, right? His 8th or 9th?
8th, yeah.
That was his first road goal of the season. He has only scored on home ice so far this season. So the first time Derek Ryan's found the back of the net on the road. I like dialing it in on the penalty kill a little bit here because, early in the season, this was a legitimate, not like a huge problem for the team. It cost them a lot of games. Think back to that game against the LA Kings. There was a game earlier in the season in Washington that they lost by 1 and gave up 3 or 4 power play goals. But yeah, they score shorthanded. That now moves them into a tie for 3rd in the league with 8, they scored twice, tied for 2nd in the league with 9 shorthanded goals on the season. But more impressive for me is just as of late, they've been doing a great job of not giving up goals when they're shorthanded. Their PK has really hit another level. You think back to early in the season when this PK was bottom 5, bottom 10 in the league for the most part. Since January 1, Connor, they are now 8th in the NHL in PK percentage. It's crazy how much of a difference good special teams makes. They get a power play goal and they needed one tonight. Their PK comes up big a handful of times and gets them some kills. That was a really solid special teams effort.
We talked about it a little bit last time. McDavid getting some time on the PK. Shorthanded, he played just over 2 minutes. You also had Nugent Hopkins out there for 2:18, which typically he's going to do. Evander Kane just under 2 minutes. Do you like having McDavid out there? Because, some people will say that the threat of an injury rises, but man, what he represents just as a risk for the other teams. I mean, I love to see it.
Yeah, I like it too. Like I maybe don't love it. I think I'd like to see the Oilers have a penalty or a group of penalty killers that can thrive and just let McDavid rest in that time. But there is something to be said about like when McDavid's on the ice, the other team's top power play unit is kind of a little bit like on edge, right? You're a little bit more nervous to make that risky cross seam pass when 97's lurking and he can just turn on the jets at any given moment and fire back the other way, which again, we saw a little bit tonight. So again, I don't love it. I like it. I don't hate it. As long as he's not going out there and like dropping to one knee to block shots, then I think I'm kind of fine with it.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And I mean, especially if he's out there maybe towards the end of the first power play unit's time, maybe there's a little fatigue there. He can take advantage of it.
100%.
Yeah, I'm definitely good with seeing that one. How about Evander Kane tonight? What do you think about him dropping the mitts there with Brady Tkachuk?
Yeah, I mean, so much for the whole like Evander Kane's been told he can't fight kind of thing that we had heard about earlier when he first returned from injury. That's clearly gone away. I don't mind it. Brady Tkachuk's their best player. And you know what? Ottawa got a power play while Brady Tkachuk was in the box. So if you're Evander Kane and you're like, hey, my team's maybe starting to get a little flat right now, I'm going to give them a bit of a spark. I'm going to take on the other team's best player, and I'm going to take him out of the lineup for 5 minutes. I think all around that was good. It was a solid tilt as well. I thought they both got some good shots in too. So I know some people were like, "Oh, that's bad timing from Kane. You're leading, blah blah blah." But like, it was a scrappy game. I don't know. I think that was a fine spot to pick if you're Evander Kane.
Yeah, 100%. Take off their best player, good trade value. He's okay. Yeah, I'm totally good with that for sure. On Facebook here, Bassam says Kulak should have been the first star of the game. He played unreal. He was the second star. Dave says Hyman is doing great. Yeah, I mean, Zach Hyman, greatest free agent acquisition for the Edmonton Oilers in their history.
I don't
can't really argue that one.
Argue that. How can anyone argue that? I mean, the guy is having a career year, and if you look like Ken Holland, he's made his mistakes. We've talked about them a lot, but you look at the way he's handled a lot of unrestricted free agent signings. Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman. Those three guys coming in at a combined, what is it, $15.9 million. And the fact that two of them are top 20 in the league in scoring right now, unbelievable. Like, I don't know. He nailed those three contracts. He negotiated them perfectly. And all those guys are going to be around for the long haul. Granted, you're probably not getting career years out of Hyman and Nugent Hopkins every season. But right now, this illustrates just how dangerous this Oilers team is, because it's not just McDavid. It's not just Draisaitl anymore. They have this legitimate secondary layer of scoring on the team. And I mean, Hyman, just wow. The penalty shot, too. I love that. First Oilers penalty shot goal since Gaetan Haas.
Good throwback there. And yeah, I mean, nice finish on that one. Yeah. Facebook here, we've got Kyle saying the cup is coming home this year. The number one emoji. Let's wait and see on that one. Peter says, any word on Klima? Spank says that on the YouTube chat. What did you think? We're not doctors, Tyler, but Klima left the game there. What do you think's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. He was holding his arm, which is always, concerning when a guy doesn't come back after the game or throughout the game either. But I don't know. I think it's a wait and see. You never really know. Like, could have just jammed up his wrist a little bit and needed to get the gear off. Like, I don't know. Nothing that I don't think that'd be anything too serious. We haven't gotten any updates though.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jay will not say much post-game, probably keep it close to his chest, and we'll, maybe find out a little bit later. How about Jesse Puljujarvi? I saw some people saying maybe they're showcasing him. If the showcase is to put him over the top, then I think a GM's not doing their job. I think everyone knows what Jesse Puljujarvi is at this point in his NHL career, but swing and a miss on the first attempt early in the game, but he does score the game-winning goal. Nice to see for him.
Yeah, a couple of ugly turnovers in there as well, but he scores the game winner. Like you said, he ended up forcing a few turnovers throughout the game as well. It's fun to joke that, like, trade him while the trade value's high. And people always say, like, are they maybe showcasing him tonight? But, like, you're right. GMs know what Jesse Puljujarvi is. Everyone knows what Jesse Puljujarvi is. It's not like some GM would just happen to tune into the third period against Ottawa and be like, son of a bitch, better second rounder. I'm in. Let's do it now, Ken. Like, it's whatever. An encouraging sign for Puljujarvi. It's a feel-good moment to see him with that big smile going by the bench, and Evander Kane and some other teammates were all laughing with him too. Like, it was a feel-good moment. But if you're sitting there and being like, oh, is that going to lead to a trade tomorrow? Like, nah, don't hold your breath.
I like to think as soon as that puck went in the net, some GM's like, Ken, let's make this happen. I
I'm
see
in.
something. Yeah. Call the league. Let's file it. We're good. Twisted89 on YouTube says, boy, that was a roller coaster. Another solid third to close this one out. And that's something like since this whole turnaround coming up on a month now, they have really improved their third period play where they're in 1-goal games or whatever, finding ways to score the goals not only, but also, defending 1-goal leads against good teams. So nice trait to see them starting to find that kind of ability heading down the stretch run here.
Yeah, the Oilers now this season have moved above 500 in 1-goal games. They're 8-7 on the year, and that's definitely a trait they've started to develop as the season's kind of gone on, right? That ability to play good in tight games. And sorry, tonight wasn't a 1-goal game. They are 8-7 in 1-goal games, though. Tonight was tight. The Oilers found a way late in the game to just kind of put the pedal to the floor and be like, hey, we're not going to lose to this Ottawa team. And I think, again, that's what good teams do. Like, it's very rare to find a team that's just going to, for 82 games, play 82 60-minute efforts that are perfect and a bunch of Picassos. Like, they're not all going to be beautiful. Tonight, I think you probably put somewhere in the middle of that spectrum where when they started to take over a game, the gap between them and the Sens was evident. They made some mistakes, but good teams find a way to overcome, a handful of mistakes every game. And that's what they're doing right now. Like, even go back that Philly game. Okay, you don't have it at all. You are so flat against the Flyers, but you find a way to drag that thing to overtime and get a point. Against Columbus, you're so flat before the All-Star break. Everyone's wondering, oh, boy, is this team maybe starting to show some rust after that hot streak? And it's like, no, you find a way to just grind it out. And even though it's not pretty, you pick up a point. And I do believe this is one of their longest unbeaten in regulation streaks in franchise history.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some hiccups, but all in all, a very good stretch of hockey by this Oilers team. Look at some other scores today. The Flames knocked off the Sabres 7-2. The Canadians in overtime beat the Islanders 4-3. That's who the Oilers obviously take on tomorrow. And I kind of touched on it earlier on. The Tampa Bay Lightning over the Stars 3-1. Nikita Kucherov with 1 assist in that game. So with that being said, McDavid is the league leading points at 97, Draisaitl 78, and Kucherov 77. Tyler, I heard you talking about it, and I know you were down at the All-Star festivities down in Florida, talked to Leon Draisaitl, and, despite the points, he's kind of felt that he's had maybe a bit of a slower year. I don't know, off year. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but good to see him after a couple bad games by his standards. 2 assists, 8 shots. I mean, and that's it for me. Getting the shots on net, like getting those offensive opportunities. Good to see from him.
Yeah, the words he used when I talked to him at All-Star were finding his confidence and also finding his consistency. And I think when you look back to that game against Philly, like that play, it's burned in my brain. He's coming in down the left side of the ice. He has a clear shot at the net, and he tries a blind backhand pass. And it's like, I joked yesterday on Oilers Nation Radio, like someone needs to grab a montage of Leon Draisaitl firing pucks home, show it to him and be like, hey, man, you have one of the best shots in the NHL. Use the damn thing. And I think tonight was him maybe starting to find that confidence a little bit where he goes, you know what? If I throw a ton of rubber towards the net, on net, because remember that first McDavid goal was the result of Draisaitl just shoveling one towards the blue paint. If I throw pucks on net, good things are going to happen. Tonight, 8 shots on goal, I believe, is what he finished with. And they need that Leon Draisaitl. The Leon we saw tonight, they need that more often going forward. And some people will sit there and say, well, he was playing with McDavid. Is this maybe a sign that they need to keep those two together? Yes, it is. And if that game right there was a message to Ken Holland, play those two together, let them be a dynamic duo, go get another centerman to play below them in the depth chart.
Yeah, I mean, we did the pregame show on 1260. That's kind of one thing I threw out there too. Like, get those guys back together. Let them play. Anytime one of them might have some confidence issues, there's a pretty easy fix to that. And that's just putting them back together. The Avalanche in action tonight taking on the Panthers. That's a 4:00 start. And then we got the Kings playing the Penguins tonight as well. So something for Oilers fans to keep an eye out for in this one. On the old YouTube chat, if you're there, 110 people watching. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. With Vinny, we Winnie. That comes from Be Clean. And then Lamborghini Perlini says, in air quotes, After Dark, LOL.
After dark during the day.
We can't just change the name. We just have to, keep it going just with the same brand. And I'm trying to keep it a little bit darker in here for that reasoning, but yeah, after dark, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. We're here to recap the game. Okay, so we got a message here from Gavin, the intern, our producer extraordinaire today, saying Chris Johnson just said Edmonton and San Jose talking Karlsson. Tyler, I know you're on the offense or defensive center bandwagon. I think Taves, is that your guy?
Taves is my guy. O'Reilly's my guy. Listen, Chris Johnson, everyone knows, legitimate insider. If he's saying it, there's a little bit of smoke there. Do I think Oilers fans should be, sitting on the edge of their seat right now thinking a Karlsson deal is possible? No, there is so much that makes this kind of a deal complicated. First off, it's Karlsson's cap hit, right? This guy's under contract for 4 more seasons at $11.5 million. What do you need to do to make that cap hit manageable for the Oilers? Apparently, San Jose is only willing to keep like 20% of the thing. That's not enough. The Oilers can't afford a $9 or $10 million Erik Karlsson. That deal probably needs to be chopped down closer to 7. With a lot of deals, Ryan O'Reilly, Jonathan Taves, we've talked about the idea of that third-party broker, right? Just go get a third team involved, cut the cap in half again, and you can afford a $10 million cap hit in Jonathan Taves because it's been diced twice. With Karlsson and that term remaining, I just can't see a team being willing to do that. No team's going to sit there and be like, we'll sign up for 4 more years of just dead money on our cap space because the Oilers gave us a 2nd-round pick. Like, it's just not going to happen. Also, you can only keep 3 retained salaries on your books in the NHL. That's a CBA thing. The Sharks already have this season, and I think 1 more or 2 more of Brent Burns retained. They're also right now in the market at the deadline of trying to trade James Reimer, trying to trade Timo Meier. If they retain salary on both those guys, then they can't retain on Karlsson. If they retain on Karlsson, then that means for the next 2 years, they only have that 1 other retained salary spot to make moves at the deadline as they head into an even bigger sell-off. So there are some legit hurdles here. The other thing, he's a right shot D-man. Some people say the Oilers need to go out and get a better right shot D-man. I know your radio partner, Jason Gregor, is big on that train as well. He loves the idea of getting Karlsson. Tyson Barrie's very close with a lot of guys in this locker room. They really value what he brings behind the scenes. Would they part with a Tyson Barrie to bring in an Erik Karlsson? I have a hard time seeing that because I think they really, really like Tyson Barrie. Would they move Cody Ceci? It would take a ton of draft picks, and maybe Ceci's a part of the cap dump to make that kind of a deal happen. But the point is, even if San Jose retains Karlsson down to $7 million, which is a stretch, Mike Grier apparently doesn't want to do that. How much more do you have to pile into this deal if you're Edmonton? Is San Jose just going to agree to take Ceci and agree to take Puljujarvi and agree to take Foegele just to get a couple of first-round picks from you and an Erik Karlsson deal? It's just, there's so many things standing in the way of this making sense to me, and I don't think it's a realistic expectation to be like, they're going to get him in the next 20 days.
So there's a few hurdles there that you mentioned, and everyone, it seems like in the YouTube chat seems to agree. Epiphany says, obviously the cap fairy will just give us $13 million. Scotty says, I take Meier over Karlsson. Steven, too much money unless it's 1-for-1 with Nurse. It's not happening. And Facebook guy Dave says, should Nurse be traded?
Oh my God.
No,
I'm just going to go start blocking people who say that.
Yeah. No, and who's going to take that contract on? Like, it's just, I don't know.
If Karlsson was a rental this year and it was the last year of his deal, man, I'd be all over this thing, right? It'd be like, okay, you get him knocked in half by San Jose down to 5.6. You get Arizona in here. Here's a 4th-round pick, Arizona. Boom, Karlsson's maybe $3 million. Puljujarvi goes the other way. Throw in a first and a prospect, and you're getting this high-end puck-moving D-man for the guy might score 100 points on a terrible Sharks team this year. The production Karlsson has is unbelievable. But you would just have to give up so much and clear all of these hurdles to make it happen that I'm like, is there not a better fit out there? And this is the same beef I have with going out and getting Jacob Chychrun, who doesn't have nearly as many hurdles. I'd go get Chychrun before I get Karlsson for what it's worth. But you're going to give up 2 firsts and a prospect to go get Chychrun. And then it's, okay, what are you going to use to get a centerman? You probably still want a bottom 6 winger. Just spread your assets out. Deal in the rental market this year, and then this summer you'll find out how much the cap is going up. You can make your more long-term bets and long-term decisions in the summer. For now, I want as many good pieces as possible, not just one big shot.
Dave, again, would you do Nurse for Karlsson and maybe a draft pick?
And why would San Jose do that?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big one. I mean, would you take a less talented player, save a couple million for more term. Like, no. I feel like when Karlsson signed that deal with San Jose, we knew this would be happening eventually. Like at some point, they're going to look to move him. It's going to be tough because of his contract. The whole Roberto Luongo thing again. Yeah, it's interesting here.
And
Go ahead.
Sorry, Tyson just said too, and he wanted me to add this in. Darnell Nurse has a no movement clause. And
Yeah,
right now it's
exactly.
a full no movement clause. It doesn't change to a 10-team no movement until July of 2027. I'm checking right now. It's 2023, Connor. 4 more years of Darnell Nurse having a full NMC. So for all those people who are like, should they trade Nurse? We should trade Nurse. Throw Nurse in this deal. Get your head out of the gutter. It's not happening. Give it up. Also, he was really good today.
Yeah, but people don't want to point out when he's good, only when
know.
he's bad. Be clean also bringing up that no movement clause. We had one here from JL saying Holland must have leaked the Karlsson rumors to appease the fans after his underwhelming comments this past week about the deadline. I feel like, if anything, it would have an opposite effect because a lot of people in the chat saying, no, let's not go down that route. Ewan, I got your name right today. I like the concept, but I doubt it's happening. Yeah, I mean, the idea of having Erik Karlsson on your team it sounds fun. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
But it's just not realistic and probably not a good move. They have to find someone to insulate Nurse. I want a healthy Nurse in the playoffs. So be worth the money.
Yeah, people kind of forget, one, he was great down the stretch last year. Like, he was on the verge of earning that $9.25 million down in the final 2 months of the regular season last year. And in the playoffs, they were rolling him out there with half a hip. Like, it was a messed up injury. That's something that should have kept him out for a couple of months. He played through it, and they kept playing him 23 minutes a night on that bad hip. So, I don't know. I think people just have this. I'm honestly just sick of talking about Darnell Nurse. Like, he's not an issue. Is he paid too much? Sure. Lots of players are paid too much. But at the end of the day, and I'll steal a line from my friend Lowtide, you can make up your Darnell Nurse trade proposals when they find a defenseman that's better than Darnell Nurse because he's the best one they got.
I was waiting for you to say something about keeping your powder dry or
Yeah.
another low tide is. Lakeisha on Facebook says, any update on Costin? Nope, nothing as of yet, and I wouldn't expect one. Even if he's not going to play tomorrow, I doubt you get an update. Just kind of the way Jay Woodcroft is. I said it on here. He's a football coach coaching hockey. He likes to keep those things close to the chest. And yeah, we probably don't hear anything about that. Neilio, hey, if we're going to talk Darnell Nurse, maybe we'll be positive. The playoffs against the Jets, he was great. And he was playing like 30 minutes a night.
Yeah, like he's been good in playoff series in the past when he's been healthy. Like, he's a part of this core as well. And Tyson points that out. Like, him and McDavid, him and Draisaitl, that is a tight-knit group there. There's a reason they signed him. There's a reason they wanted him to stick around. People just need to stop with that.
Yeah, 100%. We always look at the ice time here. Today, Tyson Barrie, 25 minutes. Darnell Nurse, 24. Obviously, Tyson getting 3.5 of those on the power play. And Darnell Nurse, 2.5, 4 minutes on the PK. The lowest, Vinny Desharnais, Philip Broberg, both clocking in at just under 12 minutes. I love Desharnais going at it with Brady Tkachuk. I'll say it, I'm a fan of the Tkachuks, maybe not necessarily against the Oilers, but the way they play, grittiness, fun to see Desharnais getting in there and mixing it up a little bit with them.
Yeah, and like to have the smirk on his face while he was doing it. Like, one of our mailbag questions coming this Monday on Oilers Nation is, what's Vinny Desharnais' ceiling? Could he ever be a top 4 guy? And I don't think he'll ever be like a legitimate top 4 guy, but I think this is a player who's really tracking towards being a high-end third pairing D-man. And I know that's maybe like a little bit of an oxymoron or whatever to say that, but a guy you can trust at 5-on-5, a guy who can give you good penalty kill minutes and brings that element of toughness, led the AHL in plus minus last season. And Frank Saravalli told me on my show earlier this week, the Oilers actually had teams calling them this summer saying, hey, is this Desharnais guy in your future plans? If not, what's it going to take for us to grab him from you? Like, there were teams that recognized the value of Desharnais, and Ken Holland just flat out said, no, I'm not moving the guy. So he has value around the league. He has value in this Oilers organization, clearly, because they held on to him. And I do think he's a part of their future plans on the blue line.
We actually had someone text in about him like last November saying, like, I wonder if he'd be a trade piece. And I kind of thought to myself, well, hard to say really at this point. Good thing they did move on from him. Obviously, he's added a nice element to this team, and all they do is win with Vin. But yeah, great to see. Tyler, quickly, you going on the old AMA Nation vacation to Toronto?
Yes, I am. March 10th to 12th. I'm going. We gave away a couple of spots on Oilers Nation every day on Friday, March 10th to 12th. Fairmont Royal York Hotel. We got your transportation to and from that hotel. Once we're in Toronto, your flights are included as well. And we're sitting in a little perch at the Scotiabank Arena in a gondola suite. Food's included. It is the bougiest nation vacation we've ever done. Nationgear.ca is how you can join us. It's going to be a good time.
I kind of joke like it's going to be classier, and Jay's like, "Well, maybe not, maybe not." Like,
I think like on the surface, it'll be classy, but once we get there, just knowing kind of our ways on these trips, it'll be anything but.
okay, so I know in Vegas, the Taco Bell, what was it? Cantina? Very hot,
Lifestyle Center.
big hot spot. What do you know where you're going in Toronto?
Ooh, that is a good question. Our pal Nick Alberga, who obviously hosts Leafs Morning Take on Leafs Nation. He also does fantasy writing at Daily Faceoff. He's a Toronto guy, and he's a Toronto nightlife guy. So I think I'm just going to like default to whatever Alberga tells me and just tag along wherever he goes because he seems to know all the good spots.
Kyler says Oilers Nation will never be allowed back. Well,
hey, if the
we'll
Oilers win and we're causing trouble up in that gondola suite, who knows?
Let us know in the chat if you're from Toronto. Where does Tyler need to go? I was there like last spring for a Jays game. I don't know. We went to like a small pizza place. I think Wahlburgers. It was okay, but you guys need somewhere a little more your style, I think.
And I do think as well, if you're watching this and you're from Toronto, we have a couple of like extra spots in the suite. So if you're from Toronto, or if you're going to be in Toronto March 10th to 12th, you're in Ontario, whatever, and you want to come just watch the game in the suite with us and hang out with us for the night, I think we might be able to do that. So you can email me, Tyler at Oilersnation.com. I'm don't quote me on it, but we might have like one or two more spots left in the suite.
AMA Travel doing great work there. Nelio says Nurse equals Nickelback. Nickelback has a lot of haters, but
yeah, it's fun to hate on them now, I guess. Why not? I have my Nickelback tickets though for June when they're here, so I'm fired up for that.
Yeah, I mean, I always say on air, like, hey, if I got the opportunity to go, I'm in. Like, I think Nickelback will put on a heck of a show, have a couple beers, going to be good. And Spank57 says Zanzibar, Tyler. So maybe you check that one out. Oilers victorious today, 6-3 over the Ottawa Senators. If you took the over at Betway, nice little night for you. Good way to start the day. Bet responsibly, 19 plus. Tyler, what are you laughing at here?
Nothing. Just
nothing.
We're good.
Nothing you can get to here. Oh, Brad, it's a family show.
Yeah, he was the one who suggested a spot in Toronto. That is a long running joke from our last nation vacation. Is what Spank57 was getting at there, which is why I'm laughing.
Oh, okay.
Kind of memories you only make when you join us on a nation vacation, people.
Over my head, but yes, join them on the nation vacation. It'll be a good time had by all. Gavin, you want to jump in here? We usually bring you on here. Get your thoughts on the game today. The jawline.
Yeah.
Any you always have some good stats for us. So what stood out to you in today's game?
Well, I think like the big one for me, you guys already touched on it too. Leon Draisaitl, right? Bounce back game. I tweeted about it earlier. I thought he was going to have a bounce back game, and he did, right? 8 shots on goal. He probably could have potted 3 goals tonight. I think he hit a couple posts as well. So huge bounce back game for Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's nice because towards the end of each of these Oilers Nation After Dark shows, we do our little prediction. Tuesday, Aaron, Jay, and I were all completely wrong. And then for this one, you, me, Cam, we all had Oilers winning. So we looked a little bit smarter on this one, but definitely a good one. Dave on Facebook says, what's your take on Holloway's season? Tyler, what have you thought about Dylan Holloway this year?
Yeah, I mean, when you consider the hype after his preseason hat trick, I think we were all like, oh, is he an answer in the top 6 and all of that? And that was probably the worst thing that could have happened. Maybe it's the reason he made the team, but like if Holloway doesn't score that preseason hat trick, our expectations probably don't get out of hand. He probably doesn't start the year on Draisaitl's wing for that season opener, and expectations are probably a little bit more tampered. He's been fine. And I think he's started to get more and more confident as the season's gone on. He's a good bottom 6 piece for right now. And I think that is okay. The Oilers don't need him to be anything more than that. But I do kind of like that they're rolling with him and not just moving him down to the minors. I think he's gaining some valuable experience. And you want your young players to kind of know what it feels like to play in meaningful hockey games. So I think they'll keep Holloway up here for the rest of the season, regardless of what they do at the deadline. And I think he's a guy who can just keep becoming more and more impactful as the year goes on.
Yeah, exactly what Tyler just said there. Yeah, obviously the hype around him coming into the season because of his preseason, like, was sky high, like Tyler said, right? But I think he's developing well. Yeah, he's only getting 8-9 minutes a game, but still, it's still a long way to go for the young guy.
Yeah, I mean, the time to send him down is past. I thought that was earlier on in the season. At this point, yeah, you might as well keep him up here. Dr. Gonzo, hello, buddy, says Greek god Gavin. You got any Greek in you, Gavin?
I do not.
No, okay. No, just the chiseled chin. We've got some, Waz says, partying with Tyler is an unreal experience by itself. Tyler likes to have
only
a good
the blackjack
time.
table. At the blackjack table.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Gavin, we had a good time in Vegas.
Yep.
And B Clean says Tyler's got to break out the romper for the bougie box in Toronto. Is there a dress code there? I mean, the ACC, it's a lot of suits from what I hear.
If there wasn't one in Vegas, there won't be one in Toronto. So
yeah, that's a good point. I'm looking at the romper truck sitting in the closet right now. I might have to bust it out for the Toronto trip.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way we can make that work. Someone wanted us to dress up like you, Ty. I think the stipulations were if the Oilers lost today and tomorrow, we would have, but it's over now. It's over now.
But the Stubby costume will stay at home. The Stubby costume won't be making.
Yeah, that one won't fit in our carry-on or anything like that.
Gavin, don't move that jaw. I have some glass to cut. Gavin's jaw is like takes over.
Yeah, what a thing you guys have going here.
I mean, the people love it. The people love it. All right, guys. 103 people right now in the YouTube chat. If you are in there, make sure you hit that like button. I'm going to do the same right now. I'm going to try to pump my own numbers up here. Looking ahead to obviously, I think we're going to agree. And Stuart Skinner gets the between the pipes, gets a chance to get back out there. Challenges from this Montreal team, Ty. What did the team have to do to make sure they don't fall flat on their face, really?
Yeah, I mean, the Habs are coming off an OT win against the Islanders today. Like, there's no easy games in the NHL, but this is a Habs team that's not been that good so far this season. I'm just looking back through their last couple of game logs. They get outshot more than they outshoot the opposition. They have not fully outshot their opposition at 5-on-5 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. The best is today against the Islanders when they were dead even with them at 24-24. So it's been 7 games since the Habs have outshot anyone. They used Montembeault today. So second of back-to-backs for each team. It's not like there's any sort of a significant, rest difference between the two. And the other thing, a little birdie told me that the Oilers are having, they're staying in Montreal and having a big Super Bowl party after the game. So you don't think the boys are going to be a little bit more motivated to get a win and make sure they can party hard? Again, teams don't usually throw that bone to their players of we're staying an extra night in a road city. They don't do that very often. So I think the players will kind of sit there and be like, hey, we got our treat. We're going to stay for another day. Now let's make sure we go out and get the win.
What do you think, Gavin?
Yeah, no, just exactly like just going with the same game plan that you guys did today. Montreal allows the 5th most goals per game, so I think it's gonna be another high-scoring affair for us.
Yeah, Ty, I also heard that report, and I mean, from what I hear, Montreal not a bad town to have some fun in. So the Oilers, a little carrot to chase, a little motivation. You want to have a good time. Always, the beers taste better when you win. So definitely something to look forward to for them. Ty, who do you have in the Super Bowl? What are you taking here?
Ooh, who do I see? And Connor, I'm struggling to pick a side in this one. And I honestly think I might stay away from betting on either side. And I'm a prop betting guy. So I think I'm going to go after Goddard and Kelsey. I'm going for the 2 tight ends in this one. I'm going to try probably just take both of their receiving yard overs, probably take them both to score a touchdown as well. I like the tight ends.
How about you, Gavin?
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I physically can take the Eagles. So I'm going to go KC here, and I think Kelsey takes on the MVP.
Well, yeah, I'm a Chargers fan, so I want Kansas City to lose, but I picked them on another show, so I kind of feel like I have to ride with them. Ty, you're a Bills fan. Do you want to see the Chiefs go down, or do you care?
I just don't care. Like, when the Bills lose, I feel dead inside. I'm honestly still not quite emotionally over that loss. So I just don't care. Chiefs win, Chiefs lose, doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, you
really like
you didn't blow a 27-0 lead,
fair,
so
fair.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Our teams all suck. Whatever.
What a depressing way to end an Oilers win show. I'm drinking a victory beer, and you're making me sad.
Anyway, well, that's what the NFL does to you. 31 fan bases are pissed at the end of the year. All right, well, let's get a prediction then. What's going to happen tomorrow when the Oilers take on the Montreal Canadiens? It's a nice 10:30 a.m. start once again, so you can have pregame beers, postgame beers, Super Bowl beers. What happens, Ty?
It really is a fantastic sports day tomorrow. Also, the end of the Waste Management Open with a couple of Canadians, Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin. I just locked in a nice Nick Taylor 60-1 live bet on him to win this thing. He's sitting top 5. So tomorrow is an unreal sports day for Oilers fans. And honestly, I'm kind of expecting more of the same on the positive front from the Oilers tomorrow. I think their star players really took a step forward. And you know what? Tomorrow, you're playing a team that is very low in the standings. You're playing a team that is very below you in the skill department. Let your big dogs eat again. Let McDavid and Draisaitl take over this hockey game. Get your power plays, take advantage of your power plays, and you'll win the hockey game. Stuart Skinner going between the pipes. That's a big advantage the Oilers have over a lot of teams they play, is 2 good goalies. When you're on the second of a back-to-back, you can still trust the guy between the pipes. I actually kind of like that they saved Skinner for the second game of the back-to-backs because I think he just has that game-stealing potential a little bit more than Campbell does. So I'm really high on the Oilers heading into tomorrow. I think we're probably looking at a pretty good weekend for this team.
How about you, Gavin?
Yeah, well, Montreal also struggles to put the puck in the net. I think they're ranked 29th in the league, especially with Stu playing extremely well. I think the Oilers pull out a 4-1 victory.
All right, well, I'm going to go with a 5-2 victory. Empty net goal. So 5-2 victory. Oilers find a way to get the win. Your M-Chuck right now, Nick Taylor, 9 under through 6, 2 under on the day.
He's up to 9 under now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's Shoffley behind Scheffler. And then Adam Hadwin, +1 on the day, but 9 under. So it's looking good. The Canadians representing at the Waste Management, probably, what a scene. That's got to be bucket list. That should be the nation vacation at some point. You got to try to time it out there.
My guy Frank Saravalli's in Phoenix right now for the Super Bowl too, and what a weekend down in Phoenix. Oh man, with that and the Super Bowl happening at the same time, that's unreal.
Yeah, what a weekend of sports there. Holy.
Amazing. And what a start to the weekend for the Edmonton Oilers. Big 6-3 win now, 30-18-5 on the season, 65 points. Connor McDavid leading the league with 97 points. Leon Draisaitl in an air quotes off season where he's not as confident as he should be, 78 points. 1 up on Nikita Kucherov for second in the NHL. Oilers back in action tomorrow, 10:30 a.m., taking on the Montreal Canadiens. We'll be back here with Oilers Nation After Dark afternoon again tomorrow. Once that one wraps up, join us then. Thank you to everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching, or even on Apple or Spotify, wherever you're listening to this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Give us a like, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Also, quickly, shout out to Betway, 19 plus, bet responsibly when you're on there, and Cornerstone Insurance, as well as AMA Travel. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Saturday.